Hey, what's going on? My name's Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. In this episode, we're going to talk about what it means to believe, behave, and become. These are the keys to changing any pattern that you have in your life. Are you ready? Let's go. Have you ever stopped to think about your beliefs and how they might impact your actions and how they might show up in your friendships and your relationships? You know, it's easy to overlook your beliefs because, for me, speaking from personal experience, when I thought about beliefs, the first thing that came to mind was religious beliefs, was something about the church. Those are your beliefs. Those are the things that you hold dear. I've come to learn that it's not about religion. So when I talk about beliefs, I don't mean talking about which God you may or may not pray to, or which deity, or what your spiritual beliefs are, essentially. Your beliefs, I've come to discover for myself, are what you believe is true. And I said believe in there, but it's what you think is true. Your experiences in your life, what is true? So something very simple, for example, if you believe that brushing your teeth is going to help you fighting cavities, and maybe you believe cavities are bad, so your actions will correspond with those things. Beliefs are really simple, tiny things, and uncovering where you've discovered those beliefs or where those beliefs come from really help inform the rest of your life. So if you believe, for example, that brushing your teeth is going to stop you from having cavities, that's one belief. If you believe that having cavities is wrong or it's painful or it's something that you don't want, then you are going to act accordingly. You're going to act in a way that you will not have those cavities, whatever that means. So you'll find the information, which means basically brushing your teeth with some fluoride, and you'll do that because that's in accordance of your belief. And most of us don't think about our beliefs that way. We don't consider that to be a belief. But it is. And if you were to look at your life, your beliefs show up in all the things that you do. They show up in all of your actions, your behaviors. They show up according to what you believe. If you don't like to be late, if you're a person who believes being late is rude and it makes you feel uncomfortable, then you will do what you can to not be late. If you believe being late is okay as long as you tell somebody, then you'll do that. You will do it. You will do it according to your beliefs. So what I'm getting at here is that when I talk about believe, behave, and become, we have a lot of little beliefs that were given to us by our caretakers as kids, as younger people. We trusted them to help us understand more about the world, and so they passed on their beliefs, their experiences, and what they believed from their experiences to us. And they have told us, little Timmy, little Lee, you've got to brush your teeth twice a day. I remember when I was in school, and I'm an 80s baby, so I'm just approaching 40 here in a couple of days. But I remember being in school, and we were talking about brushing our teeth, and there was some big scientific debate about brushing your teeth up and down. Like the optimal way to brush your teeth was up and down, up and down. I remember a teacher talking about that. And they also talked about how A couple of days later, maybe it seemed like a couple of days, but perhaps some weeks later, I remember it being the same teacher talking about, oh, now they think that brushing your teeth in circles is the way to go. You're supposed to do that. Okay, wow. So right now they're giving me new beliefs. According to the adults, they're using the information that they have and doing the best they can with the information that they have. And they're giving it to me. They're like, hey, Lee, now little Timmy, brush your teeth up and down. No. Brush your teeth in circles. Make sure you floss twice a day. Make sure, this is another one, make sure you chew 32 times so that your food is fully chewed before you swallow. Little things like that. You don't know where they've come from, but they stick inside your head and you find yourself chewing 32 times and you can't tell your partner or your wife or your friends why. They're like, why do you do that? I don't know. It's just something I've always done. It's a belief that gets stuck in your head that someone has given you and you've accepted without examining it. That's your belief. What I understand about beliefs is that certainly our caretakers give us these beliefs because, that they hope that we can do something with them and it'll keep us safe. Maybe they unconsciously also pass them to us because they don't know where they have gotten those beliefs. They're just like, we've always done it this way in our family, so you're going to always do it this way too. I'm going to teach you how I learned it so that you can be like me. But then when you go out into the world, you realize that the belief that they handed you doesn't really work. It doesn't really suit your needs. And you start to question and you start to push back on it. They go out and they tell you, well, you need to chew 32 times. When you realize that you can chew 31 times and be okay. And so you stop chewing your food 32 times and they're like, how dare you? How dare you do that? I've taught you better. 32 times, that's the standard. And you're like, but parents, but caretakers, but whoever. No. 31 works just fine for me. In fact, I'm going to spite you and not chew my food at all. I'm just going to swallow it whole now. And that's sort of what we do when we're trying to figure out who we are and what we want. Our beliefs. We go back and we just go to the extreme. We're like, I'm not going to do anything that you say because it's not good. And I want you to know that I have my own path and I'm going to discover my own way. And then we discover, like, we have to chew our food a little bit, little chomp a little bit. We just can't swallow it whole. But it's for us to experience, to believe, to tap into that belief, to accept the belief as our own and experience it as true for us rather than have someone tell us that it is true and that's the way things are. We need to go out into the world and decide and accept the belief for ourselves based on our own experiences. And when we do that, we'll behave accordingly. There's a difference between having a belief given to you and you accepting it for yourself. Now, what does this have to do with your friendships and relationships and connections? Well, your beliefs are a part of how you behave in your friendships and your connections with other people. If you believe that you are not worth anything, then when you enter a relationship or a connection with someone, you're going to behave like you're not worth anything. And of course, your relationship will become that thing that perhaps you don't want. I'm speaking from personal experience where I believe that I wasn't worth anything. I'm smart. I'm talented. And people have said these things to me. I could do artwork really well. I got a scholarship to go to college. I do all kinds of amazing things, but I didn't believe that stuff. I didn't have the skills to create the kind of relationship and connection that I wanted with other people. So it became everything that I didn't want. It became everything I believed about myself. I behaved in a way that just destroyed my friendships, my connections, my relationships, my co-working connections, all of it, because of what I believed about myself. So we talk about believe, behave, become. What you believe is what you'll behave. and what you'll behave is what you'll become. So I want to help you understand, from my point of view, or what has worked for me, is that checking out those little beliefs, understanding how I show up, really helped me change my behaviors to create the life that I really wanted with other people. I really wanted to be connected, to be heard, to be understood, to feel loved. And it had to start with these little tiny ideas that I had in the back of my head. I had to go back and dismantle them, pull them out, examine where they've come from. And a really easy way to do that, I found an easy way, or an effective way to do that, is through my actions. Because again, we believe what we behave. What we believe is how we behave, and how we behave is what we'll become. So if you're looking at your actions or your behaviors throughout the day, like, why do you do the things that you do? Why do you drink coffee every day? Why do you drink coffee many times a day? Why do you spend the time the way that you do? What do you gain from that? Examining that is going to help you understand more about your beliefs. Do you ever think about that? Just, why do I do the thing I do? Why did I do that just now? How am I feeling about that thing? Oh, I don't even know why I do that. We just always something that we've always done. Ooh, that's a bit dangerous. Like, whose beliefs are you behaving? Is it what you really want? So I encourage you to just look at some of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis, the little habits that you have, and think about why you do them. What benefit are you getting by doing this habit? Is it something that you cherish, that's important to you? Or are you doing it just because it's going through the motions? If you're going through the emotions or going through the motions, I encourage you to examine a little further. I'll be right back with the Reddit friendship advice question. Are you tired of having boring conversations about nothing that lead to nowhere, that just feel like a waste of your time? Do you want to have deeper, more authentic connections with people in your life? Then skip the small talk and speak from the heart. My name's Coach Lee, and I'm an expert in helping people build stronger, more fulfilling social connections, both personally and professionally. If you're tired of having these boring conversations, then come to my free webinar to learn exactly how to skip the small talk and speak from the heart. I'll be hosting these webinars twice a week for the entire month of March, once on Wednesdays and once on Saturdays. To reserve your seat, click the link in the show notes and select the time that works best for you. Space is limited to just 10 people, so reserve your seats sooner rather than later. I'll see you there. All right, now it's time for the Reddit friendship advice question. If you have a friendship advice question that you think I should answer, tag me in it on Reddit. My handle is Brilliant and Resilient. That's Brilliant, the letter N, Resilient. How to stop being friends with someone I don't even want to be friends with. So there's this coworker of mine that I was nice to on my first day, and now she thinks we're besties. She tells me all her family tea, invites me to go every weekend. Even if I say no, she'll start harassing me to go out with her. She even makes an effort to commute with me every day after work, even if I'm clocking out earlier or later than her. I don't know. It's just too much. And I feel like we don't even click. I've been trying to set my boundaries, and she just steps all over them without even caring. It's annoying and stressful. Every damn afternoon, I have to try to come up with an excuse about why I can't commute with her and how she gets around it every time. I don't know how she gets around it every time. I don't know if I'm being a B or what, but why can't I go to work in peace? I already have enough friends. LOL. I laugh at this one because most people are like, well, I can't find anybody who wants to talk to me. And you have somebody who is just trying to talk your ear off. But again, you are not able to have your peace, so it's annoying. I get it. Everything that you said here is annoying and stressful, were the two words that you used to describe it. And you're trying to set boundaries, but you're not able to set boundaries. Now, what does this have to do with this theme? Believe, behave, become. Well, what is it that you believe about yourself that is allowing this opportunity or allowing this situation to occur? Do you believe that you do not deserve peace? Do you believe that you have to take care of somebody else's feelings before your own? Because that's what it sounds like to me. You sound like me. You remind me of me. I picked this up because you remind me of me, not wanting to say no to people, not wanting to hurt their feelings, and not having the language to set the clear boundaries and create the atmosphere that you want. You want to stop being friends with someone you don't want to be friends with. Well, people who have very clear boundaries or believe that they deserve to get exactly what they want in life, they will set those boundaries and they will stick to it. They'll say, hey, basically, hey, come here. I want to talk to you for a minute. I'm not interested in going to your party. Do not follow me home. That's rude. That's very rude. That's not how I would phrase it. But you get the gist of it, right? You get the understanding that if you believe something about yourself, whatever it is, I don't know what it is that you believe here about yourself in this situation, but whatever you believe about yourself, you will behave that way and the situation will be. You will become that person. So right now you have become a person who does not have peace at work. If you want to become a person who has peace at work, what does that look like? What are the actions that you have to take to have that peace? What are the beliefs that need to be in place to have that peace? Now, okay, that's hard to work backwards to get to. It is. But if you start with, because beliefs are hard, they're hard to figure out where they've come from and how they've infiltrated you because we haven't been looking at them. They've been dormant inside of our brains for years upon years, decades. Somebody has programmed us with ideas and we have accepted them without question, and we continue to do so. And it's hard to figure out exactly where that comes from so that we can pull it out of our head or we can change that pattern of behavior. But I want to ask you to start with what you want to become, because your actions will dictate what you become, or your behaviors will dictate what you will become. What you said that you wanted to become here is a person who works in peace, a person who has a peaceful commute to work. And it seems like you don't want to be friends with this person. What are some of the behaviors that you need to have before you can do that? I would say right away. So this is the part where I give you something that's actionable, because I want to get you stimulated in thinking about what your actions will be, or what reality that you want to create for yourself, what kind of connection you want to create for yourself. The peace doesn't have to be not being friends with this person. It could be talking about things that are different than whatever she talks about. Because perhaps she's overwhelming you with her conversation and just about nothing. Maybe she doesn't give you any opportunity to talk about anything. Perhaps there's effort or there's an opportunity to change what you talk about. It doesn't have to be that you do not talk to her. It could be what you talk about, the frequency of your conversations, and the intensity of your conversations can be different. You can have space from this person. It doesn't mean that you do not have to talk to them. Use your imagination and imagine what a nice connection, or a peace rather, would look like at work with this person in your life, right? I want you to do that. Take a moment to imagine what you would talk about, what you find entertaining and interesting, and talk to her about that stuff and see if it sticks, right? The key here is that you want to look at what it is that you want to become, what this connection wants to become. See if your behaviors line up with what you want your connection to become. If they don't line up, then you're looking at your beliefs. Why can I not behave the way I want to make this relationship become what I want it to be? Believe, behave, become. Redditor, thank you so much for asking your question. I know that you didn't ask me to answer it, but I did, and I hope that it helps. Best of luck to you. Take care. My name is Coach Lee Hopkins, and you have been listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. You can find me at patternsofpossibility.com and on all social media at Patterns of Possibility. And as always, I want to encourage you to be yourself, live your truth, and there you'll make lasting friendships.